Can you all see it? Can you all see? I just want to minimize this.
Yes.
Okay, so a business portfolio. Don't look at my answers now, but do you all know what a business portfolio actually really is? I just want to change it. Yeah. Who's brave enough to answer? I can see you read, Karen. Where's Tina's? Oh, Tina's put it. Okay, so basically, guys, a business portfolio is literally everything that I mentioned on that WhatsApp group: the business plan, the financial plan, the marketing plan, those 6 things that you need for your business plan, plus one. That's the missing piece that I discovered now in my whole journey. Because I have been marketing my concept and my whole model of my business plan to invested bigger companies that can help me scale my own concept and my own method that I've basically my coaching program. Okay, so I learned a lot through them. And there was one document in particular that they asked me continually for, and I didn't have it. And this is what I don't want you guys to forget in terms of when you are presented with the opportunity and a big company approaches you with your things, you got to have at least some of these things in place. Okay. So a portfolio, a business portfolio, is basically the engine room for your entire operation. But what I like to call it is the business portfolio is basically the machine that builds the machine. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's not just a document, but it's strategic DNA of your vision. And this includes every plan, every process, and every promise. So make a note there, guys. This is my 3 P's. Plan, process, promise. And there's a reason why the promise is last, because this will carry your legacy forward. So I'm sure you guys are at a point in your life where you want to leave something behind, whether it's for your children, whether it's for your children's children, whether it's for your customer, your audience, just for the planet, for the sake of humanity, or whatever your reason that is bigger than you, because we are not going to be here forever. Okay, physically on the earth. Okay, so a business portfolio, guys, is not, I'm highlighting it there for you. It's not a hope to do someday. It's something that you are doing right now. We've created the momentum for the past year, more than a year now, that you are in a confident position. You care enough about what you have to scale and serve that. Okay, does this make sense, guys? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yes, Tembek. Yes, Karen.
Would this relate to all those different systems? Remember, we did the whole body and all the different systems. And so the business portfolio is really the coming together of all the systems that make up the entire body of your business.
That's right. Perfect, Karen. Well, remembering, yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, guys, what I did for you guys is I just summed up the 6 plans plus the bonus that you'll be getting today. And I'm sure I will be doing it in like 10 minutes. Okay, so the business plan, that is basically your big picture. Okay, who are you going to do this for? What problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for? And what will success look like? Not for you, but for the client. This is why the promise is so important. And it's there, Tembeka, this is the one that's going to answer your question. The promise, in terms of coaching as a service, I want you to completely remove the word service from like your whole business plan. You have to create your service into a form of a product. So what I used as a metaphor before we started, I said to the guys now on the call, if you go to the hairdresser for a haircut, or you want to dye your hair, that hairdresser offers as a service, yet she uses this products for your hair. Like, for example, she has a branded scissors to cut your hair. But the service includes those products and then you have a transformation of a haircut. So it relates back to your coaching practice, whether you have clients with trauma or whatever the case may be, they are buying your product in the form of a coaching course because they are interested in the transformation. So a haircut is the easiest example. Okay. Does that help them, Becca?
It does.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And then in the yellow, guys, I marked here for you. When I felt stuck, I realized my business plan was written for the bank. And this is so true. And not for my client. Okay. I wanted it to look good for the bank. And I've been there. I've sent my business plan to the banks, asking them to invest in the business, to borrow me money, to start the business. And it was just like, you know, the leaves falling off the trees. No one heard anything. So I rewrote it as a living document that I could use every day to make decisions, not just tick a box. Okay. So as I'm going through this, yes, Corin, please ask your questions. Yes, Corin.
My question is, I have to go. I'm so sorry. This is very valuable and useful, and I appreciate it. And thank you for being here today for us.
No, it's fine. I'll send you the recording, Corin, but thanks for joining. Okay.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Okay, guys, so the financial plan for me, this is not just about income and expenses. Okay, this is your financial intelligence plan. So what are your cash flow projections? What do you need to earn monthly, quarterly, and yearly? And then what is your break-even point? And what is your pricings based on? So these questions, as you guys do the business plan, these questions will be like naturally answered in terms of how the client who you want to serve, what is the actual product that you want to sell them, what's the transformation, these will be answered based on, so it's a flowing, again, remember, like the body and the flowingness of everything. Okay. And then my note is, I used to run from my numbers until they ran me into debt. Now I demand my numbers to speak the truth so that I can take responsibility. What I mean by that is, I got to a point in my business where everything was so good. I stopped planning. I stopped thinking something can go wrong, that I can lose my money or lose my clients or lose my business. I stopped advertising. I stopped talking to clients as if though they really require the transformation. I started becoming the person like, you know what, it's so good. Everything's going so well. Like, I don't need to plan. I don't need to prepare, until I lost everything. Okay, guys. So this is a very key, important. And whatever you do in this financial plan, if you have your numbers, income, expenses, pricing, all those things, then times everything by 5. The reason why is because if you look back like 10 years ago, the costs of things and the cost of things now is, I mean, like, for example, if I can just use my grandmother, she's now in a retirement frail care center, and her medical bill is like in the 20,000s, where the family needs to get together on a monthly basis and like kind of figure out who's going to pay what, because it's so expensive. 10 years ago, you know, when my grandmother had medical aid and all of this, none of us thought we have to plan the next 10 years for my grandmother getting so ill, for example. So all these things, be considerate, just times the whole thing by 5. That's the easiest. Then you know you're covering anything that can happen in the next decade. Is that helping, guys? Nee? Okay, so the marketing plan, this is how you move. I put there energy, but for me, energy is the 3 S's, which I call the story, the strategy, and the system to attract and convert your ideal client. Okay, so this is where you are, Tinus. What is your message? Which platforms will you use? And how many people find you and stay with you. This is the biggest part, guys. Okay. So when I was invisible online, it wasn't because my efforts were wrong or my content was wrong. It was because of my voice. It wasn't consistent, nor was it clear. It's like the people will go onto my social. That's why if you guys see, I've deleted everything. All my channels are quite quiet. There's no posts. There's nothing going on there because I'm how can I say, I'm reinventing myself. So I had to learn that marketing is not about hype. What I mean by hype, it's not about how many times you post. It's not about how many followers you have. It's not about how many people like your video. All of that has changed in like the past 6 months. All the algorithms have changed, guys. So it's about alignment. And that alignment needs to be congruent with your customer being at the time that they want to buy the transformation. Not looking for ideas or looking for maybe this will help, a quick fix. You need to, your marketing message needs to be so well orchestrated that you attract the customer who wants to buy. Does that make sense? Okay, guys. So the next document is the SOP, which is the Standard Operation Procedures. I see we got like 5 minutes left, guys. I'm gonna, 7 minutes. So I'm gonna see if we can jump onto a next meeting again. But anyway, let's carry on. So have you guys got any questions so far? Nothing. Yes, you're easy to teach, eh? Okay, so the SOP, guys, this document changed my life forever. Seriously. I started working on my SOP, Standard Operating Procedures Plan, about 3.5 years ago. And this was the document, I'm sure, if I didn't send it to the investors who are currently I'm working with, it would have been a closed door. This was just something, it wasn't complete, it wasn't, perfect. It was at least something I had to present to the investors to tell them, this is what I think my business can look like. Okay. So this is how your business runs without you burning out. This is the key point. SOP is a document that allows you as the founder to get out of the business, but still continue to run and operate the business with other people. Okay. So this is how you're going to onboard people. This is how you're going to handle inquiries. How are you going to do the bookings, the payments, delivery, the follow-up, the feedback? All of those things goes into your SOP. And just as a side note, guys, McDonald's, the fast food McDonald's, in their SOP, they even have a standard operating procedure of how many liters are allowed to be flushed in a toilet. Okay, so this is how detailed this document can be. Up until the milliliters of flushing a toilet. That must make you guys think of how important this document is. Okay. So yes, I had burnout because everything lived in my head for far too long. For about 5 years, everything was just in my head. And I remember, oh yeah, I did this with this client. Oh yes, I did that with this client. Let me phone this client. Let me WhatsApp this client. It was all in my head until I got so to a point where I'm sending emails and invoices 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. There was no time frame. So eventually, after 5 years, I burnt out. Luckily, I started documenting everything. So I documented, okay, if this client asks me that question, what am I going to do? I'll answer this, or I'll email this, or I'll employ someone to answer these questions, things like that. So it freed my future team as well as freed me. Okay, does that make sense, guys? All of these plans are very valuable and not one is more important than the other one. Yes, Tinus, het jy 'n vraag?
Not really a question, Sonia, just a
Mm.
comment. Something that's very interesting that I'm busy learning now is uh, you can also create from your landing page an automated answering system, meaning that ChatGPT can help you to just answer or greet someone or say a thank you note and to someone. So that can make life also much easier.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll get to the operating systems, Tinus. What I've learned in the last 3 months on in terms of AI and how to AI adapt your business, it's phenomenal. Okay, but this is the most important one, Tembeka. I think this is where you were getting a bit stuck. The products and services plan. The reason why we have to have both when we are in training, because remember, we are in training, we're busy building this plan. So the business plan, the financial plan, the market, we're busy in the building stages. So for now, we have products and services. Okay. But if you want to go really big, guys, if you want to attract investors in your field in terms of big companies buying your plan, your intellectual property, that is what IP stands for, intellectual property. Okay. Then only focus on products, but your service is still a product. So if you can say, for example, if you can approach a business investor and tell him that, you know what, like me, I've got the swimming program, I can guarantee the clients and their children to be swimming wise within 16 weeks. That's a product. That is a program in a form of a product. It takes the customer 16 weeks to go through my product, but it's as a service, because no investor, no big business is interested in buying a service business. They know it's very difficult. So if you can convince your investor, yes, it's a service, but it's actually a product, because it takes the customer 16 weeks. They got to do step A, B, C, D kind of thing. Then it turns into a product. I can actually teach someone how to sell that product. Does that make sense, Tembeka, for you with your question?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Yeah, Tinus?
I'm very talkative today.
That's perfect.
If I may add as well, is if you create your brand, let's say for instance, you start to market yourself in your niche market, then you offer also some products with your service, meaning just a simple thing like a journaling prompt or just a small exercise to get the mind working. Even this, you can even put it as a product, this intake forms that you need to complete on what is your problem. That you can also then turn into a product. So that is just an idea of how to also incorporate products into your service so that it can be easier to convert your idea of a service into a product.
Wow, very good. Thank you, Tinus.
Makes
Guys,
perfect
I see I
sense.
got like
Yes.
10 seconds. I'm going to restart the meeting. So just jump off and jump on again. I'll use the same password, okay? Can you? Okay, so Tinus, I'm going to get back to what you answered in what you asked, not answered. Watch out for these very, I don't want to call it quick fix AI assistants in your business that you can use for like just answering a welcome message or answering an email or something like that, because people are starting to realize, especially in the self-help industry, people are starting to realize that all these things are AI. It's auto, so there's no emotional connection. So while I'm on this point, guys, I'm gonna tell you about a company called My Panoramic. So you can write it down. They are current, and this is not, I'm not doing any marketing for them, but what I found about them that is a bit different than all these other things that you can incorporate in your landing page and in your website and stuff like that is this company trains the AI assistant that it sounds like you, it answers like you, it's like as if you would have responded to the customer, which for me is mind-blowing. Okay. So it's my panoramic. What I'll do, where's Mina? Did I accept Mina now? Is she trying to log on? Let me just see. Oh, where's Mina now? Just wait for her. So we're almost done with the document, guys. Okay, so basically, the products and services, this is your value creation. This is where you tell your client, this is what I can do for you. This will be what you're going to look like once you're done. That's all the customer wants to know, guys. They don't want to know about how many worksheets do they want to fill in, how many videos are they going to get, how many one-on-one sessions they're going to get with you, how many phone calls, how many messages. They are not interested in that. They want to know what is the value they're going to get and who are they going to be after your course or your program. Simple as that. Guys, it's really as simple as that. But here is some personal questions for you. What are you selling exactly? Okay, so personally on your, like what if you can't explain clearly in maybe 2 or 3 sentences what you are selling, you're going to confuse the market and you're going to confuse your audience. And remember, guys, because social media and the AI is going bonkers. So you need to be able to stand out above the noise. Not necessarily speaking louder or having louder content. That's not what I mean, but I mean clarity-wise. You have to stand out above the noise. Okay. And how is your IP, which is intellectual property, unique? Okay. Do you have any names, frameworks, phases, or outcomes documented? This one is something I only realized 5 years into the swimming industry. So I started documenting every client or every child's lesson, what we did in the lesson, how they progressed, what I did wrong, what someone else did wrong, what went wrong, not necessarily me, but I started continually daily. And then I would send it to the customer. Like the parents will receive a progress report and say, this is what we worked on. This is what we stumbled on. This is the outcome for next week. Okay. Because without the documentation in terms of sending these progress certificate to your customer, like if you want to register at ICR, International Coaches Registrar, if you want to get certified by them, they need this track record. They want to see how many customers have you actually really worked with. Okay, and this is documents, guys, that you can't just fake, for example, have your own log. You have to be able to prove to other people as well, like them, ICR, and say, okay, this is all the coaching I had. This is what I did with the customer. This is the progress. This was the results. Does that make sense, guys? So if you haven't been documenting everything that you've been doing, start doing it now, guys, because what's made my life a lot easier is I just took the documentation and I put it into a book. And now I have a product, an actual physical product to sell to my audience in the form of a book, which can help more people than just, you know, my courses, for example. Okay. So my stuck point here was I had the same services for years, and I'm going to add something. Because I wasn't making enough money with that one service, I added different things. I added water aerobics, then I added people to come and rent my pool to offer their services. Then I started with like Amway products, New Way products. I added so many stuff just to stay with the bills at the end of the month. And the people started getting confused. They started coming to my facility expecting more than what I could offer because they are now used to 5 or 6 products or services. Okay, so if you can take whatever you've been working on, guys, narrow it down to one thing and just sell that one thing, you'll become the pioneer in the industry. Okay. So the transformation wasn't obvious. It wasn't until I named my method Life Basics that people could see the value. And then I have a little technique I developed in the name. It's called Name It, Claim It, Frame It. Yes, Tembeka?
I guess deep down, Sonia, that's what the struggle has been for me. Part of this, that sense of being stuck,
Yeah.
is because very much what I do as a professional with my professional training, qualification rather, compared to what I do as a coach, it's very difficult and it's a very thin line to separate myself as a professional, because at the same time, it's something that I think most clients would look for and would be something that can put me in a bigger opportunity compared to a coach that doesn't have the same sort of background that I do.
Exactly.
So it becomes very daunting for me to separate the two, and it's a struggle for me to actually put it out as a strength. In a way, it ends up feeling like sort of, a dilemma. How do I
No, I know.
separate Tembeka, the social worker, from Tembeka, the coach,
I know exactly where you are. For me, in my example, for you, Tembeka, and even for you, Tinus and Mina, I'm using my example because that is what I'm good at. I was a swimming teacher. Now I'm becoming a scaling business coach. That's my profession now. I'm a business coach. I'm a business strategist. Okay. And it is miraculous how similar, sorry about this. This was now the recording, how similar a business plan is in terms of swimming lessons, because we are all drowning in our little businesses. We are just barely treading. We're in the deep side and we are treading. We need someone to throw a life buoy into the pool to rescue us. You know what I mean? So, Tembeka, if you can, and the rest of you guys, if you can see what you have been doing up until this point and the specific industry that you've been in, how is that pivoting your coaching industry? Because you and that experience you bring with from the past is what makes your IP unique. And this is one of the things the investor that is currently so interested. I mean, he is so interested in my stuff that he is prepared to pay for everything. He's prepared to pay for the trademarks. He's prepared to pay for the marketing campaign. It was like everything just fell on my lap. I don't have to pay for anything. And this was the remarkable thing, is how unique my intellectual property was. Like I take my own concept and scale it, and we both win. So I trust that makes sense, Tembeka, because yes, it is daunting, but use everything that you've got and put it in one little box and say to the customer, this is what you get. And just coming back to Tinus's marketing message, guys, to be honest, the last 3 months, 3 or 4 months, give or take, I've done 2 AI consultant courses. One was international from America, and the other one was from Brian. I'll send you guys the details. But what I found was a lot of people market their own story. Like, people don't want to hear about what you've been through and how you got out of it. That's why you write a book. People want to read about what happened in your life. How did you get it through? That for me, that's the sign of writing a book. If you have felt so much struggle and challenges in your life, put it into a form of a book that you can release that, and then the book will actually help someone else. But this is your IP. I literally, guys, I took my intellectual property, put it in a book, published it. Okay, so that is also, I've copyrighted my intellectual property. And that's another key thing. I think maybe I'm confusing you guys about where I'm going. Maybe I've fallen off the tracks here. But coming back to the marketing part is like, people don't want to know why, for example, me, why did I leave the swimming industry to become a business strategist? Like, what? It doesn't matter. The point is, I am where I am now, but I bring with me this massive interlinked track of experience on teaching children how not to drown in a swimming pool. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because trust me, a business, drowning in a business and drowning in a physical pool is basically the same. So yes, guys, so make a note, name it, claim it, frame it. That's so you must have been having something that has been working for customers. So name it, just give it a name. Check, go back into your documentation. What exactly did you do? The frameworks. You see, this is where we are, point 3, the frameworks. Okay, then the phases. So let's say, for example, you've got a framework, you took a client through maybe 5 things, 5 steps to do. But every client, when they get to step number 4, something happens. That's a phase that you can innovate and create something that is of, how can I say, lesser impact. So, for example, let's say, for example, you have how to overcome, I don't know, what can we use here as an example? Okay, let me use swimming, for example. How to overcome my child's fear of drowning in 5 steps. Okay, that's an example of a course. So it's a 5-week course, but every time the child comes back for the 4th lesson, something terribly goes wrong, you know. So now I've done it with 10 people. I've realized, ooh, step 4, this is happening. That's the phase. So that's a phase you can pinpoint in your program. And now I create something, let's say a 1-day water-wise workshop to conquer that step 4. So then I invite all the parents for this workshop. It's just 1 day, maybe half a day. You cover that exact thing that you have been getting stuck on, step 4, on that workshop. Then you carry on with the course. So now you have something small to offer. Now you have something a little bit bigger, more pricier. Can you see, guys, how you get to smaller offers to help people foster, to get to your bigger packages? Does that make sense?